We're going to get rolling here. Again, if you guys want to stay turned around, that's fine. This is going to be a more relaxed talk, more open forum as well. If you guys have questions as I go through my presentation here, just raise your hand, shout them out, whatever. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, go with the flow. But today, first off, I want to thank Pave Tool and Souders as well. If we got a big round of applause for both of them. You know, Pave Tool, with some of the equipment I've seen out there, it's pretty nuts. And all the stuff that they're creating to help you guys in the field. Believe it or not, I used to be in the field. I know I don't look it. But I started in the landscape industry when I was 14, just trimming Christmas trees. So I worked my way up and worked my way into an office, and then a car, and then an office, and back and forth. That's about where I'm at now. So when I showed up in my loafers and my nice shirt, Chris kindly told me to go in and change in the car, which I did. I have extra clothes in there, so I had to look more rugged for you. I want to thank Souders too, just for what they've been through the last 3 to 4 years with the supply issue and just helping us out as a company. They're our number one supplier, our only supplier, and they didn't really skip a beat. I'm sure they heard some complaints from me personally, but ultimately, listen, they kept up with it, and I appreciate them. And I appreciate them and Pave Tool having me here today to talk to you guys. It's special to me because it's an industry I love. So my talk today, I sent out a bunch of topics I've done at different areas and different forums to Chris. And Chris picked the one I hated the most to talk about, which is great because it got me thinking differently on how I can present this to you in a different way that means something to you. So I did this talk at the London Landscape Technology Conference 3 years ago. It was really boring. And I thought I'd spice it up a little bit and make it more focused on how you guys are working out in the field and how it can relate to you. So how does tech and culture come together? It's a really good question, right? So this is designer Phil and me. I always like to throw this slide in. This is my first speaking event. And this was right before COVID, I believe it was? Nobody showed up. So I want to thank you for showing up. I think you're made to show up. But I had to talk for 45 minutes to nobody. Okay? It was embarrassing. These people up here, they just wanted a break. They was at the Philadelphia Home and Garden Show. They were walking down the aisles. They just sat to take a break. So Phil and my sister at my left ear here, they're the only ones I talked to. But then Saturday was better, and Sunday I did 3 talks that weekend. But it was right before COVID, and it was a good experience for me. But I learned from it. Tonight I'm going to be talking about determined to improve. This experience helped me. It helped me get through a lot of the stuff that I'm going through now. Talking to nobody is kind of a reality check. Okay, it humbles you a little bit. All right, so I appreciate you guys listening to me. So I'm from Newcastle Lawn and Landscape. I'm Brad Stevenson. This is our company. I guess this is probably close to 2006, 2008, right before or right in when the economy crashed. If you guys are young, you might not know the economy crashed, but obviously it crashed. Hold on, we'll wait. Awesome. Round of applause. So this is Newcastle before technology. We're out in the field. When we were out in the field, I was actually out in the field. And right here is my ugly mug. We have some of the people that are, Phil, were you here on this picture? I don't think so. I don't know if you were here yet, but we didn't really use technology at all. Shovels, trucks, wheelbarrows, that was it. It was so bad that our marketing didn't even use technology. This is our mascot. His name was Digger. And it's a groundhog as a mascot. The worst animal you could have in the landscape industry, that was our mascot. So once Phil came on, we were able to change some stuff around. What's that? Phil the Groundhog? Phil the Groundhog. Oh, that's your new name. That's designer Phil, but now he's Phil the Groundhog. This is us after technology. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. Back in these days, too, we didn't think we could hire women, okay? That was one of our biggest improvements, was hiring women. It was just something we were scared of. We're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work out, whatever. But it was something that was really important, especially on the tech side. Everybody that I'm working with on our lower level of our office are women, and they're all in the computer doing our systems processes. They're doing a lot of that stuff. And I stay down there as much as possible. But you look at how bright we are too, again, on the branding side, we're just a happier company with technology, okay? So raise a hand. I just want to see who's in the audience. I got to go around and talk to you guys a little bit, but who in here is a laborer for their company? Raise the hands, okay? How about foremen? Okay, supervisors, owners, lots of owners, okay. How many people here have back issues? Okay, if somebody wants to tell me what your back issue is, just one person. Herniated disc. Okay, how many?
2.
L5?
Yep.
Okay, that's where mine is too. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my story and why I'm in the office and in the car instead of out in the field. They put me there. This used to be me. That's not me, but this used to be me. I wanted to be Superman. I wanted to be the strongest guy out in the field. I wanted to lift all the boulders. I remember I was putting a pond in, and one of the boulders fell into the pond, and the homeowner said, we need to move that up. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna wait for a machine. I'm just gonna go in there and huff it up. The boulder was close to that side, and I was able to push it back in. And the homeowner came out and said, man, you're really strong, Brad. That made me feel really good. But this is stupid, okay? So, herniated disc guy. I'm a herniated disc guy too. I had 2 herniated discs in the same disc space. We're gonna pull out a little bit of a model, but the disc space is so small, any swelling, that's why I have a stool, any swelling, I start getting pain down my leg, and some other things happen as well, which we'll go over, okay? How many people here, and I know we've done it, Phil, you've done it too, but how many people here say you're out in the field, you have a Roka step, and you're like, you know what? This Roka step needs to go over here, but by the time I get out to that machine, or the time I go out to that trailer to get the suction cup machine, I could have had this moved. And then what do? You pick it up the wrong way and you slide it over, right? How many people have done that? Be honest. Come on. So Phil, yeah, it's definitely me too, okay? But it's not smart. I built my own house, okay? This is how dumb I am. I built my own house. Do you guys know what the king of spade edge shovels are? You know what they are? They're the best shovels ever. I dug my footer out with an edging shovel, okay? Because I thought I was a superhero. Dumb stuff. I have an excavator I could have brought over, but I had to be Superman, show everybody how strong I am. It's not the way to go, and I'm going to show you why. And herniated disc guy, what's your name? Lee. Nice to meet you. I'm Brad. So, this is a little bit of a mock-up. We're going to talk about the nerves in your body. I am not a doctor. My wife is a physical therapist. But I'm going to tell you the L5 disc space. Well, hold on. I dug up my Uncle Johnny and brought out his bones to kind of show you a little bit about the discs. So what I want to show you is how the nerves, I got one other piece too, but we'll save that for later. So basically, you got your vertebrae. So this is your back. Okay, so you got your vertebrae. The disc is that cushion that's in between your vertebrae. That helps you stand upright. It helps with shock absorption. When you herniate a disc, like L5, which I did twice, that's this space. But in the back here, you can see all these are nerves, all right? So any little piece of disc comes out, it's gonna push on that nerve, okay? It's the most painful thing you'll ever experience. Was it painful? Yeah. So, and here's the deal, guys. All the guys here in the room, the nerves they lead to that area as well, okay? So just be mindful, it's in your groin, down your leg. When you get that disc herniated by doing stupid stuff like lifting boulders, when we have machines right next to you, don't be Superman, because I'm telling you, and I'll tell you the rest of my story, a herniated disc can really throw your whole life out of whack just by one stupid mistake, okay? So my hope is that I give you enough to think about, especially when I start talking about the mid-region for the guys, enough to think about that you're gonna stop, get that machine to make sure you're moving that Roka step, moving that boulder, laying pavers, makes you think a little bit, okay? Oops. So this was me back in the day with hair. This is about a week to 2 weeks after I herniated my disc. I was lifting I forget what block it was. I was lifting it, and then I just felt a pinch, pain down my leg. I'm like, man, what's going on? I was pretty depressed at this point. So if you look, my wife was doing a project for her college in photography. She said, look the way you are, which I was miserable. And I'm going to use your picture as part of the project. But I didn't know what I was going to go through at this point. I was depressed. I was in so much pain. I remember mowing my grass. It was probably about 2 months later, I just started crying. Like, I could not get through mowing my grass, and my wife came up to me, she's like, man, what's going on? I was like, it's so much pain. It's a gnawing, just stabbing. It's if you haven't experienced it, you don't want to, okay? So what happened? I went to the doctor. The doctor told me, you know what, you're too young. You're in your 20s, we're not gonna do surgery. We're gonna put you on some Vicodin, okay? We're gonna give you some Vicodin. And we're not just gonna give you a couple of Vicodin, we're gonna give you hundreds of Vicodin. This was before the opiate crisis, okay? I was part of it. So when I went to the doctor and told him what was going on, they're like, listen, we're gonna have to give you an MRI, see what's happening. So, but we're gonna give you this vat of pills, you know, to hold you over. Make sure you can get through the holidays. I'm still holding this skeleton, right? Just in case anybody wants to see it. So, you know, I go through the MRI, true herniation, L5 again, this disc space popping out here, pinching nerves. I couldn't get it away. Like Advil, I took so much Advil, Vicodin, everything. Didn't want to have surgery on me, didn't want to do surgery because I was too young. 5 years. 5 years of taking Vicodin every single day. I didn't take it at work, but every single day I took Vicodin. And they say every 3 to 4 hours, right? That's the first year. Second year, it got to 2 to 3 hours. Because when you take Vicodin for that long and are narcotic, it starts not lasting as long. And when you stop taking it or you don't take it, your body starts hurting. It's not even your back anymore. Your whole body hurts because your body's used to that Vicodin. I didn't realize I was becoming addicted to Vicodin and I didn't even know it, okay? So 5 years, because they didn't want to do surgery on me, because I was too young. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about it too at the end, as far as some exercises you can do. Depression, you know, when you take Vicodin, when you take a narcotic, it changes who you are. I was a jerk. Okay, I'm not going to swear. I told Chris I wasn't going to swear. I was a jerk. Okay, because it changes who you are. I'm not a jerk. I'm actually a good guy. Like, I care about people. My wife didn't like me. My kids didn't like me. My kid was only a year old at this point. With that Vicodin for 5 years, I missed 5 years of my kid's life, okay? Which I can't get back because I was basically high for 5 years. Didn't even know it. Just trying to get the pain away, okay? Remember, that guy lifting the boulder, remember, every time I'm telling you this, what happened, this can be you. And it's not that hard to be you. Okay? So don't be dumb. I finally got the surgery, okay? Great. All the feeling came back, doing good. Then, another stupid thing I did, I was in a truck for 42 hours straight. Again, superhero. We had a blizzard, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna outdo everybody in my company, and I'm gonna sit in this truck for 42 hours and plow. Okay? Big mistake. Because guess what? The back and forth with the gas and the brake, I tore my tendon lengthwise. It was like a string bean, just pulled apart. So then I had ankle surgery, more Vicodin. Then they had to up the doses. Now I'm on, all kinds of stuff. When I get off crutches, get the cast off, I'm in work, and doesn't somebody come through and goose me in the butt and blows out my disc again? Yeah. And he still works for us, by the way, and I don't hold grudges. I was talking to Chris. Where's Chris at? I don't hold grudges. Okay, this guy still works for me. He was at my wedding. He goosed me and blew my disc out again, pain going down my leg. I had a nervous breakdown. I went home. I was so upset because I knew what I went through before, and I'm like, here we go again. I was in the middle of my living room floor just bawling. I cry a lot. I cry and laugh. But again, my wife's like, what's going on? I'm like, here it goes again. Same pain, same issues. This time I got the surgery quicker, but it took a chunk of my life out just because I wanted to show people how strong I was, okay? Now if I take a swing with a golf club too hard, I pee myself. So that's a joke. I don't do that. So, again, I want to hit home to this. All it takes, it could be as simple as pulling how did yours happen?
I was brushing my teeth and I sneezed.
Yeah.
And I fell to the ground and I had to crawl to lay down flat. And then it took physical therapy, years, and then I finally got surgery after 5 years.
Yeah. So this is not something that they just take you in and give you surgery, which I would go against surgery now because there's studies now. It's called McKenzie exercises, which we'll talk about a little bit. We had a physical therapist that I had lunch with he's a physical therapist for Martina Navratilova, who's the famous tennis player. McKenzie exercises is a way to get that disc, basically the jelly, back in the donut, okay? Dan does it at our work, and it does help. So there's some exercises. Okay.
Method, or that's what I preferred.
Yeah.
But there was no fixing mine.
Too far out.
It was the last resort.
Sure.
The only way for me to have a normal.
Right. Again. So is this bringing back some bad memories?
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So be smart, guys. This is our crew out there using some Optimus stuff. Again, you have that paver there. You're like, what the heck? It's going to take too long. I'm telling you, you're going to tell yourself, I'll just do it. It's that one little decision that could change your entire life. Okay? It changed mine. So, how does it relate to culture? How does this all relate to culture? That's where we started, right? It's probably what you're asking yourself. For us at Newcastle, we want to make sure we're taking care of our people so they can go home to their families, okay? Too many times when I had a herniated disc, I went home, drank 6 beers, had some Vicodin, and that was my son Zane. Now this isn't me either because he has a lot more hair. Just sitting on a couch, not being able to do anything, being miserable, being drunk, okay? Because I just couldn't deal with the pain. And we want to take care, you guys want to take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. How many people have families here? Kids? Okay. Don't you want to take care of your family? Isn't that the most important thing? If you're an owner, your employees should be the most important thing for you as well. They should be your family. So take care of your family at work to take care of your family their family at home. This is what we want Newcastle people to be. This is what I want for you guys. I don't want you to be the guy sitting on the couch, can't feel his legs, miserable, drunk, taking Vicodin. It's a snowball effect. I want you to be this, and women as well. Because listen, it still affects the same region, but you can herniate discs anywhere. Mine was this L5, S1 was this disc space. It's the most common because that's where you're bending. I couldn't do this. And even if I wanted to do this, I was high or drunk. And I didn't want to be, but I had to be because I couldn't get through the pain for 5 years. All right? take care of your employees, take care of yourself, and everything will work out. But don't be stupid. Phil, his company, they're making tools that this can be you, that you can go home and play with your kids, be present with your wife, be present with your family. Okay? So being a great place to work is the difference between being a good company and a great company. I know there's great companies here. There's great companies in our area, wherever you guys are from. If you came up from out of town, you probably have great companies in your area. There's a difference though. It's about taking care of your family and taking care of yourself first, because you can't take care of your family if you're not taking care of yourself. This is what great culture looks like for us. Lots of smiles, people upright. Here's my son, Zane. I missed 5 years of his life that I can't get back. This is great culture. Smiles, happy. Thank God he can't remember it. More great culture. Again, it's a good place to be because we take care of our families, we take care of our people. Take care of yourself, please. Just remember, guys, the area is this area down the leg, either side. You want to be mindful of that, okay? Because I'm not going to talk about the other issues, but there's other issues, all right? So maybe that will get into your head that you use a piece of machine instead of your back. And that's it. Any questions? These questions can be on anything other than a back. This can be financial questions. How do we run the business? How many employees do we have? Whatever. Whatever I can do to help you guys. I shortened this up, went quick, talked to Chris, want to try to get some interaction tonight as well. I'm here for you guys. I'm not here for me. I'm already through all this. I'm here for you guys to help you guys not make the same mistakes as I did. So I am at your mercy. Just ask me. Any questions?
How many employees are you guys?
We're at 88. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. Start to flow, right? Yes.
Still the mascot?
No. Where is Digger at? We burn him? We used to take him to home shows, and he would scare like all the kids because he was a creepy mascot too. It wasn't even like a fun one. He was creepy. You know, imagine a groundhog, which I sent it, when I did the Teco podcast this year, we were kidding around with the two other companies from Canada. I was kidding around with them about Digger. I sent them a photo. They were going to use that as the header, but they never did, thank God. But yeah, he's gone. We buried him. We buried the Digger. Yes?
How many original employees in transition mode have you kept?
So our turnover, I'll just talk about turnover a little bit. We're about 5% turnover. Most of our people, long-term employees, Phil's one of them, anywhere from 8 to 14 years. We instill a lot into our employees. We've gotten young too. We've got a lot of young employees. We're building them up. And we have different tiers of leadership to make sure everybody's getting taken care of. We have a culture crew as well, which is more focused on the culture and the younger generation. Because how many people here, like the millennials, they don't want to work, right? That's what everybody says, it's bull crap. They just don't want to work for you, all right? Because you haven't enticed them enough to come work for you. So that whole thing that they're lazy, no, they're smarter. They aren't the guy with a boulder. They want to use a machine. So the whole millennial, younger generation being lazy, I will put that to rest. You fight me on that one, I'll put it to rest all day long. They're smarter than us, okay? They know more technology. My 10-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, he knows more about computers than I do, which I don't know a whole lot, but yeah, as far as our turnover, we like to keep good people, okay? We have core values. Who has core values here in their companies? Josh, okay. Core values are very important to us. We're hiring, firing, and promoting. And it's not just a poster on the wall, okay? I'm gonna go over one of our core values tonight, but we hire people off that. If they're not showing that type of core value that we want them to, which is all three, it's only three of them, they're gonna move on. They're either gonna select themselves out of the company, or we're gonna let them go. I never had to fire anybody except for one person. The one person I had to fire, and I still have breakfast with him, he wanted to fight one of our clients in the street, okay? And he called me up as he was doing this and said, I'm gonna fight Mr. Whatever. He's been staring at me. I'm like, just hold on, chill out. I went over to the person's house. The guy was like 4'1", okay? But what was happening is, this is something we're big into as well, is mental wellness, okay? Because actually everything starts up in your head, your thoughts, all that. He was just having a rough time. So I got him help. I have a psychiatrist I see every month. I actually went over to his window and knocked on his window, which you should never do, by the way. But I wanted to get him help like as soon as possible. My psychiatrist called him right away. Now I have one on speed dial that I'm friends with. If anybody's going through any type of struggle, I had 2 people come into my office with 2 nervous breakdowns. I was able to get them to the psychiatrist within 5 minutes, okay? I am not a psychiatrist. We do the DISC analysis. I'm certified through John Maxwell, okay? We're gonna talk a little bit about that tonight. But ultimately, we want the best for our employees, not just physically, but mentally, okay? And it starts in your brain. Your brain tells you to lift that boulder. We just need to stop that, okay? Did that answer your question, Ollie? No. We don't have much turnover. We keep good people. And guess what? When you hire good people and keep good people hang out with other good people. We haven't really hired anybody off the street. It's all been referrals from our existing employees. And when we, yes? No. You can shut me up whenever you can. Go ahead.
How do you get the buy-in? Is it through their core values?
So buy-in, that's a really good word, a really good phrase, right? Phil? Phil doesn't like buy-in. You got to lead. So here's the deal. If you're a leader and you have core values and you're not showing them when you're out in the public, they mean nothing. If I'm going to go out and say, oh, good attitude, determined to improve, cares, and I go out and I'm not caring for people that are at Wawa, I'm not opening the door, I'm slamming the door, or I'm fighting with somebody in the streets, well, no, then your core values mean nothing. They have to be, as owners, as supervisors, as people and leaders in company, they have to be true to your heart. And if they're not, then move on, because you got to find another job where they have your core values. It's not that hard for us. I mean, it's very simple. You got to care, you got to have a good attitude, and you got to be determined to improve. And we'll talk about it tonight, but it's the determination. I don't care if you're not improving. You're going to make mistakes, but it's the determination to change your habits, change who you are. That's what I'm looking for, and that's personally and professionally. I'm screwing up. We're going to have to redo my whole talk tonight, Hugo. But it's real simple, and it took many years. We run the EOS system, okay? And core values were really important to us. It took some years to get it all the way through the company. We have 88 employees. Some of them might think that some of them are bull crap, but we're going to explain to them why they're not. And then if they're not showing them, we're bringing them in and saying, hey, this is how you're showing up. You have 30 days to improve. I hire people off of who they are, not their skill level. How many times do we want all-stars? Guess what? In our area, we might have 2 or 3 other companies in our area. There's only maybe 2 all-stars out there. And everybody's fighting for the same people. No, you got to build people up. That's why we got younger. And when you're instilling those core values in people and growing those people up, they're with you for the long haul because you care about them. Okay? Yes? How do you help your employees balance work and home life? I don't work them 70 hours. I get an overtime report, and if I see anybody over 50 hours, I'm asking why. I don't want to work Saturdays. I don't want to work Sundays. They shouldn't. And that's always been something for me personally, because if you're running, especially in hardscaping now with all the machines that are coming out and stuff, like it's a little bit easier on your body. But if you're working 70 hours in hardscaping, you are worthless. They have run studies. The next week, you're about 60%. The next week, you're about 50%. So you think you're getting all this work done. All you're doing is paying more. Now you got overtime, and they have no life. So that's the key, is making sure they're not working too many hours and making sure you're buying the equipment for your employees so they can go home and play soccer with their kids. Any other questions? Or football, whatever you like. Yes, Phil?
Just piggyback to that, something else that we do is we do a lot of family functions within the company. We have a couple picnics, so everybody goes to family, lots of activities. So we keep everybody engaged that way. So that helps tremendously.
Back in the day, we have a culture barrier. We have Spanish speaking, English speaking. There's definitely a culture barrier. Hugo back there with the green shirt, he is huge with bridging that gap. Hugo used to be an English teacher in Guatemala, okay? Hugo, I found Hugo, I think, what, a podcast? I don't even know where I found him. He came out of the woodwork somewhere. But he has been tremendous in blending those two sides. This last picnic we had, I bet you we had 200 people there. All the kids, everybody's kids were there, and I had to just sit back and watch, because if you see the people that are working for you bringing their families and having fun because of something that you were able to build with the people around you, man, there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. It's not about, I hate to say it, it's not about hardscaping anymore. It's about people building. That is all I do. I used to hardscape. I don't anymore, obviously. That was horrible when I was out in the field too. Phil always tells me some of my details were awful. But no, I'm in building people, giving people opportunities. That's what you want to do. Build them up, grow. You have to grow as a company in order to grow the people up too. Can't stay same level. You got to keep growing. Am I kicked off yet?
Oh, you're going to be just.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, you're welcome. You got a minute here.
A minute. Any other last questions?
I did have one other one.
Yes?
Seriously.
Okay.
So all the technology with suctions and the equipment and all this and that, it's obviously not cheap stuff. How does a business, whether they're small or large, go in and justify purchasing that equipment versus renting something? So what advice would you give to anybody on, do you want to buy something, do you want to rent something, and does Souders rent everything?
Yeah.
Before
Yes.
you get into that's more than a minute question. And I'm sorry, I was looking at my schedule. You have a bit more time.
Oh, sweet. What do I got? 2 minutes? I'm good?
Don't worry about
Okay. So I'll answer that, Phil. Thank you for that question. For me, we budget 5 years out. Okay, if you're looking at a piece of equipment, what's the life of that equipment? That piece of equipment could last 12 years. If you're only planning on being in business for a year, well, yeah, it doesn't make much sense to buy something. But if you're planning on staying in business, it makes sense to invest in something. Now, it's great if you're like trying to grow a business and you're just not sure, rent. Okay? But if you're able to buy, like I look at buying equipment, if you're a business owner, you're a risk taker. Okay? You can't own a business without taking a risk. So nothing's going to be perfect. You take that risk, you make sure it works, because that piece of equipment, when you buy it, all of a sudden you see those expenses coming in, then your bottom line starts creeping into the 1%. You start making decisions differently. You start thinking about your pricing. Like, why are you pricing so cheap? You start raising your price, or you just manipulate things to make sure that you're still profitable, because with that piece of machinery, you're going to get a whole lot more done. So then it comes back to volume and getting your volume in, because the more volume, I mean, Amazon, what's their net profit? Like 1% of billions of dollars? It's still billions of dollars. So if you can get more in the ground with a piece of equipment and your people can go home and be present with their families, why not? Why not? Is that a good plug for you? Any other questions? Are we all ready to get back to work? I'll be hanging around. I got to prep a little bit for my next talk. This is the first time I've done back-to-back different talks. so I got to do a little bit of prep. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Hopefully it strikes a nerve, no pun intended, going back to lifting things. Don't be stupid. It'll affect your entire life, okay?
I appreciate you being vulnerable.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna share that same expression. I really appreciate it. I didn't pay Brad at all. I mean, but I really appreciate you bringing out some of it. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. And if you're in the industry for 10 years, 80% of you will have a back injury.
Yeah.
So it is real, and it is something to think about. And it doesn't have to be my equipment. You mentioned about different pieces of equipment, but do your research. Don't buy equipment out of just sporadically. Do the research and make sure it's the right piece for you.
Amen.
When I'm from the equipment side, I was thinking back right off page. Like, us as dealers, equipment sales guys, we would rather customers come and ask us, hey, we got this job, what do you recommend? Call Dave or call your equipment dealership and ask advice.
Yeah.
We want you to be customers for years.
Yeah, we're all one big family. Like we are. You know, we're not, I mean, Newcastle, I mean, if you don't know about us, whatever, we are not out to get everybody. We want to bring people in and help people. Help other businesses, local businesses. We bring businesses through all the time, but we are one family. Okay, you guys are all our family. All right? Okay?
I'll just add to that, as far as on the rental side, no, we don't rent every piece of equipment. But if there's a piece that you wish we would rent, and you know, it doesn't make sense for you to own it, it doesn't hurt to say something.
Yeah.
Maybe, for example, that dust system back there, we were kicking it around and put that, something like that on rent, you know, because maybe it's something that some of y'all would want to try before you buy. But
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, we have an all-arounder here that we'd be happy to rent. A lot of you are seeing how it works out there. It's for rent. Been here for almost a year and we've hardly rented it at all. And I'm not, well, I showed it quite a few times. So this is your week to learn how to use it smart.
You said all-rounder. What's the all-arounder?
You need one for your company.
Okay. Phil's in charge of purchases.
I didn't pay him either.
Oh, is that what you're trying to do?
It's out there.
Okay. All right. Cool. Why?
Oh, yeah. What are you waiting on?
so, if I may add to that, I don't want to
Yeah.
steal your show.
No, I'm good.
But if I
Thank
may
you.
Just add to it.
You know, when you start using something, not get everybody using it, get some, even like running software, we have some experts. We use Service Autopilot. We have a Service Autopilot expert on site, which is Stacy. She's the one that does the automation. She knows all the workaround. We don't teach everybody that. It's nice to have a backup, but you got to start with one person, 2 people. Get them really good at it, and then get them to train everybody else.
And I was just listening to you, and you said you do a 5-year budget. Well, we're not doing a 5-year budget yet. I'm like thinking to myself, I should be doing a 5-year budget. We're not there yet. And so you have to start where you are sometimes, and just have the mentality of constantly improving. Instead of thinking of life as some kind of plateau that you reach, think of it as a circle. And every time you come around the circle, you want to be a little bit better every year. Life is life cycles.
Yeah.
Nature is in life cycles. You know, I think God created things that way, so where things go in cycles. And so we want to continue improvement, even though our bodies continue to break down. Continual improvement.
And those 5-year budgets are more pie in the sky budgets. It's not like very, very detailed. Our 1 year and 3 year are more detailed. But the 1 year, obviously, if you guys aren't budgeting at all for the next year, like now, you probably should be doing it. And really for us, like whenever we bring somebody through our company, we show them how we budget. We use LMN budget, okay? And it's free, all right? That's the secret, is LMN budget is free. And it's so user-friendly. We use it for every single division, every single department. That means each supervisor is running their own little budget. So it's like you have these owners of different branches of your company in your company. And that's how they treat it. They come up with their numbers for the year, and we work it into our main budget, but it's theirs to run it. If they're not hitting their numbers, what can we do? What can we do to try to catch up, but we're not focused on numbers? I can tell you that right now. We made that mistake. You focus on the dollars, you're going to lose all day long. Focus on the people, training, equipment, getting yourself up to speed. The money comes. If you focus on money, you'll lose every single day. Okay? I could talk about that for hours. I think I'm done now, right?
Yeah, well, again, I read the schedule wrong. You actually have more time if you.
Oh, any more questions?
But we
I started
also
early.
have to do so. But don't let that pressure you. We can stick to the schedule.
Keep talking, it's good.
So what was that?
I said keep talking, it's good.
Keep talking. So Phil, you hear that? I can keep talking. Who runs the EOS system here? Traction. Does anybody know about it? You guys? Does anybody else know about Traction?
should have read that book like 3 years ago.
I got it.
So the book Traction, in 2018, here's another story. 2018, we dealt with the H-2B program. 2 weeks before the mowing season started, 25 guys didn't get to our company. We had no mowing division and all these contracts out. I was out mowing. Phil had to go out mowing. We had a massive training. It was awful. We had a massive training session of just, we hired anybody off the street at that point. I hired close to 75 people that year to fill gaps. We were left with 2. And those 2 people were really good people, which they brought on other good people, but it was a mess. We lost $350,000 that year, 2018. That was the same year we were like, listen, we're gonna get all the pain out of the way. We're gonna start the EOS system. We're gonna build a leadership team. And that's what we did, and we got all the pain out of the way. We lost all the money then, and then we grew ever since then. We doubled our revenue, more than doubled our revenue since 2018. I can tell you it's a lot. First of all, our good people, but really having that system in place, all it is a way to meet and get everybody involved. Most of your field guys, if you guys are field guys, you guys have the best ideas, not the owners. I don't have good ideas. I'm not even in the field anymore. How am I gonna have good ideas? It's the guys in the field. So how are you getting them into meetings? How do they give input? How are they part of the growth of the company? Because if you're not, this is where the whole millennial and younger people thing, if you're not instilling in them that they are part of the company, they're just gonna job jump. Until they get to a company, like ours, where we're gonna instill in them and we're gonna be focused on them and building them up. Too many times we have the cliques of, we used to call the old man crew. You know, never let any of the young guys in. Let the young guys in. We were all young. How many mistakes have you made? I tell this story all the time too. I had a $50,000 patio wash off the backside of somebody's house. $50,000. I built it on fill. I took the ICPI course and thought I knew everything. I didn't know anything, and I built it on top of fill. We had a heavy rainstorm, and the whole thing sank off the back of the house. I talked to the homeowner. I was so upset. She said, Brad, it's just work. Why are you so upset? It's just work. She ended up paying $65,000 more for us to fix it because she didn't want us to pay for it. But that was a mistake that I made. You're young. You're going to make mistakes. How are you there to pick your young guys back up when they fail and not keep piling on? Too many times we pile on, and then they're gone. I don't know what happened. Where'd Johnny go? Well, he was treated like a piece of crap. I'm very passionate about that too. So,
What's your percentage as far as maintenance, landscape, and then hardscape? You know?
somebody asked me that today. I have to look. You know, we're now the 5 construction crews. We've got 6 landscape crews. So that's both install. We have 7 mowing crews, 5 turf crews. So that's lawn applications. 1 tree crew. What else am I? Oh, PHC as well. So I'd say on the maintenance install side, we're maybe 40% maintenance, 60% install-ish, if I ran the numbers. Yes?
Do you do any like in-house training to better, move somebody up a step in the company? Do you do any of that?
Yeah, so this past winter, we're in snow too, by the way. And we were happy it didn't snow this year because we were able to bring all of our younger guys in and do leadership training with them because that's where we fell short. The middle level managers, you're the all-stars, and all of a sudden you get into a foreman position, nobody teaches you how to lead. So we found that out. We're like, we got to start doing some leadership training, get into the DISC. The reason why I do the DISC analysis is to learn how people receive information. I can talk your ear off, but somebody that's a CS is going to want me to shut up, okay? I can't, if I'm doing a one-to-one, I'm not going to talk to them. I got to talk to them on how they receive language. That's why we DISC every single employee, to understand how they receive information. I'm pictures. You didn't see many words up there. I am a high I, high D. I am pictures all day long. I can't even order off a menu. Hopefully tonight the menu has pictures or maybe just go up. I can't order food without pictures. So, but that's just me. I'm not a detail guy. Did I answer your question? What was your question? Thanks for humoring me.
I want to know if you're hiring, looking for a career change.
Hey, we're looking for good people. We're expanding. We're looking to expand. So, but no, I don't want to pluck anybody from here. You're from Connecticut anyway. So, but you can travel. It's not that far.
Appreciate your business philosophy. It's really impressive.
It's a long time coming. I've always been like this. This wasn't just a change in me. I built my way up. I have always been about people. Always. It's always been about people. And I learned a lot through a lot of mistakes with people and growing up too. I could tell you stories for days. It's all, if you guys struggle, grasp that struggle because that is what's teaching you. If you just run from struggle and jump to the next thing, you're never going to learn and you're going to look back in your life and think, what the heck did I do? Those struggles are there for a reason. 2018 was there for a reason. It helped us grow. And if we wouldn't have gone through that, it wouldn't have pushed us up against the wall and we would have never made the changes we made in our company. And I might not be here as far as the owner of Newcastle. I started Newcastle as a laborer. I was not an owner. I grew myself up into an owner over 17 years. So I was out huffing wheelbarrows, moving block around, same thing you guys have done. I wasn't just in a cushy office job. I didn't go to college, high school, that was it. So I'm nothing special, guys. You just gotta care about people. You can grow if you just care about people and want the best for them. That's it. Anything else? Any other questions?
What did you learn from your back injury?
What did I learn from my back injury? Well, that I'm an idiot. And my wife tells me that too because she's a physical therapist. So whenever I came home and complained, she'd say, well, you're lifting stuff wrong. I learned that I'm not indestructible. You know, when you're young, you really do think you're indestructible. Stuff's going to creep up on you. And you always hear the older people like telling the younger people, oh, look out, just trust me on this one. It's just please trust me on this one. But and machines, I have we'll say a big ego. Okay, but I've checked that ego at the door. I can go into this all day long too. The second mountain of my life, which is giving back. It's why I'm here. It's not about me anymore. It's about other people and how much can I give back to other people, whether it's speaking events, charity, whatever. We're working with the autistic community as well. That's not for publicity. That's to help a community that's in need, and that's the stage of my life I'm in right now. So if anything, it kind of excelled that to get to that second mountain. And it's really a good book if you ever want to read a book, Second Mountain. There's other ones about it too, but it's about the true meaning of life. And the true meaning of life is giving back. It's not about making all the money and buying Porsches and everything else. It's about giving back. How can you help somebody less fortunate? You guys all got pretty straight backs, so I'm trying to help you guys. All right? Yes?
Yeah, it's a little bit off the wall. You mentioned growth. For ourselves, I almost feel like our biggest struggle is not growing. Like, we're determined to stay a small company.
Are you the owner?
Part owner, yeah.
Okay.
So
Is the other owner here? No. Okay, good. All right, let's talk.
And how can we, you know, if we do good work and our customer base keeps growing, so we're fighting this all the time, that we're almost forced to grow, but we don't want to.
Why do you not want to grow?
I don't want to have 80 employees
Why?
because I enjoy being in the field.
Okay.
That would be probably a large part of it.
Okay, how old are you?
29.
How long are you going to be in the field for?
I mean, I hope I can
Hope.
be in the field part-time until I retire, you know, right?
You hope.
Yeah.
You hope. Wouldn't it be smart to lay the groundwork now that if something happens like happened to me, that you're prepared for it? So you have to grow. You don't know, tomorrow, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
You could lose a leg tomorrow. You could lose a toe tomorrow. You could lose an eyeball, an ear, thumb, whatever. What I just said, you're not indestructible. So if you are not, like, I get the whole small feel. We have 88 employees. It does not feel like 88 employees. We are not corporate.
Yeah, no, I love your concept there.
Okay?
Still not sure if I'm willing to head in that direction. So it's still like we're fighting. The phone rings and the phone rings, and here we are. We're
Yeah.
a couple guys.
Okay?
And I know you're talking about growth as in a quality business.
Hmm?
I mean, you know, culture and everything, but
How
we're
about
fighting the quantity growth.
how about you hire one good person? Look for one other good person that's like you. Start there. Listen, we did not go from that dark green to the light green overnight. That was a progression. We grew about $1.5 million every single year, and that seems like a lot, but it really isn't in the grand scheme of things in our scale. But it is like a small company. Everybody, well, I can't say this. I don't know everybody's name. I am trying. It's hard. All right, I have a whole picture book that I go through, but I'm not good with names. Growth, it sounds like a bad word. I can tell you, Phil, I'm going to point you out. So Phil, when we were $1.5 million, he's like, I don't want to grow. I don't want to be like another company that does everything. We're going to probably be close to 11 million this year. Does it feel like 11 million, Phil? No. Okay. So don't be scared of growth. Don't you want to help more people?
Yeah, but I kind of want to keep that connection. I want
What connection?
well, like I said, being on the job, but there's the part. I mean, obviously, you keep hiring. You can hire out the office. I mean, I'm fighting between trying to be in the office and being on the job, and you know.
Sure.
I think a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I've been there. I'm pointing these out because I know exactly what you're going through because I was there. Do you have a mentor?
Not one in particular necessarily.
Okay, so you don't have a coach, you don't have a mentor. You have nobody that can get you past that.
I have multiples that I would go to, but I don't have one in particular.
Okay, because it's a mind shift. I was in construction, in control of construction. I didn't want to let go because that was my baby. I wanted to keep it with me. I was the bottleneck. My mentor told me if I don't get out of the way, we are not going to grow as a company, and then we're not going to be able to give these people opportunities to continue their growth as well, and I have to get out of the way. And I didn't want to. It was probably a year or two. I fought him. I got out of the way. If I would not have moved out of being in charge of construction, because nobody can do it better than I can. How many times have we said that? Our construction division now does things way better than I did, and now I can sit back. What I would suggest for you, do you coach any Little League stuff? Okay, coach Little League. Coach 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Watch them grow, and coach them for 5 years. See how they grow. Now you're gonna start feeling that growth. Now it's like, man, look at these kids. I mean, I coached soccer. I played soccer until I was in 4th grade. But I still coach the kids on having fun and watching them grow is the best thing ever. Any supervisor I have, I tell them to go coach Little League. Because now you can try all your experiments on the little kids. And they don't talk back really until they get to 14. When they're 14, that's when it gets a little crazy. Then I was out. But no, like, you're young. Like, I get it. So, but what's gonna happen, something that I tell you today is gonna stick in a year, 2 years, or 3 years, and you'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. But you gotta experience it. I can talk to you all day long, but you gotta experience it. So until that pain is strong enough and hard enough, you're not gonna move. So, but that's why the pain's good, the struggle's good.
But,
Yes.
well, on the flip side to his answer, right? You can raise prices,
Yeah.
keep your crew, and push out your schedule.
schedule.
Yeah.
People are going to wait for you because they want you to come and do the job. Your profit margins are going to be higher, and you can be happy. So there is
Yeah.
a way to do it.
Yeah.
And you can make your people happier by paying them more.
Yeah, and you could be out in the field.
And I feel like that's where we're going. I mean, the schedule keeps going out further and prices keep.
Well, if you're, yeah,
You have to learn how to say no.
yeah.
And that's exactly.
A do not do list. That was the best thing.
Everybody has to do that. Whether you're a big company or a small company, you'll have to say no to something.
Absolutely. And really in the sales process, as a salesperson, because I was in sales, believe it or not, you guys say no more often. We have too many yes men out there saying, yeah, we can do, yeah. And then before you know it, you're putting in, who knows, we used to do asphalt repair, $500 asphalt repair. We have a $200,000 setup going out to do a $500 asphalt repair. Makes no sense. So we came up with a do not do list. What are you not going to do moving forward? Minimums, half day, full day, week, whatever. Come up with minimums and then say no. And then if you have that as a team and you know that, it's easy because everybody's on the same page. But I get you. Like I feel it. Been there. Until I herniated my disc in my back. Can't feel my legs.
Okay, that was a loaded question. Can you wrap it up?
What was a loaded question?
His.
As far as growth,
Yeah. I mean, that went into a long discussion here, which is good, but
you're a detail guy, aren't you?
we do need to wrap up.
Okay. Yeah, so growth, listen, if you guys don't want to grow, you got to be prepared for it. So you don't have to grow people. You don't have to grow in size. It's up to you. If you want to keep it 4 guys and you're happy with that, that's fine. But ultimately, I think over time, you're going to want to build more people up. But if you enjoy what you enjoy what you enjoy. Like, it's okay. There'll be a time, it's just not now. That's all right.
You can always keep getting better.
Yes, always improve. You're taking my slides.
Growth is not always about numbers.
No. Our growth is actually nothing about numbers. Nothing. Our growth is people and improving people's lives.